Life feels like a battlefield. Every day we face conflicts in our careers, in our negotiations, in our ambitions. We fight for recognition, for resources, for our own peace of mind. The modern world tells us to hustle harder, to be more aggressive, to grind until we break through or burn out. But what if this is all wrong? What if the greatest victory comes not from fighting harder, but from not having to fight at all? 2,500 years ago, during the Warring States period of ancient China, a philosopher general named Sun Tzu codified a timeless guide not just to warfare, but to human nature itself. He taught that true power isn't found in the clash of swords, but in the quiet hum of a perfectly executed strategy. It's the art of winning before the battle even begins. This isn't a history lesson. This is a blueprint for navigating the complexities of your life with grace, intelligence, and untouchable strength. We've distilled Sun Tzu's profound wisdom into 4 essential arts. Master them, and you will master the game of life itself. 1. The art of knowing, the victory of preparation. Sun Tzu's most famous principle is his first: know your enemy and know yourself, and you need not fear the result of 100 battles. This is the foundation upon which all strategy is built. It's about radical preparation, transforming the chaos of conflict into a predictable outcome. Think of Sarah preparing for a high-stakes interview at a major tech firm. A typical candidate rehearses their own strengths. Sarah goes deeper. She knows herself. She knows her resume is weaker in on-paper experience, but her strength is a specific, successful data project she led and an unmatched hunger to learn. She knows her enemy. She doesn't just read their mission statement. She reads their quarterly reports, discovering they're struggling with customer retention. She researches her interviewer on LinkedIn and finds he's passionate about efficiency. She walks into the interview not as a candidate, but as a solution. She has already won because she isn't fighting a battle. She is closing a loop on a problem they didn't even know she understood. But knowing the landscape is only half the battle. Sun Tzu also cautions, he who wishes to fight must first count the cost. This is the second layer of knowing, strategic patience. It's the discipline to deliberate when others would act rashly. Consider a young entrepreneur, Alex, who runs a small but successful marketing agency. He's offered a massive, lucrative contract with a huge new client. It's the big break he's been waiting for. Acting on impulse, he would sign immediately. But instead, he counts the cost. He realizes the project would require him to triple his staff, take on huge debt, and divert all his attention from his loyal existing clients. The potential reward is high, but the risk of catastrophic failure is even higher. The cost of this war, in stress, in risk, and in potential damage to his current business, is too great. He politely declines the contract but proposes a smaller, phased project instead. He survives and thrives, while a more reckless person would have been destroyed by their own victory. The Western Stoics taught a similar wisdom. The philosopher Seneca warned against being ruled by emotion, stating, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." By counting the cost, you honor the work you've already done and ensure a new venture doesn't needlessly destroy it. 2. The art of deception, the victory of narrative. Sun Tzu wrote, "All warfare is based on deception. Hence, when able to attack, we must seem unable. When using our forces, we must appear inactive." In life, this isn't about duplicity. It's about managing perception. It's understanding that most battles are won or lost in the other person's mind before any action is taken. A startup founder, David, is negotiating a partnership with a corporate giant. They have the leverage. He appears weak when he is strong. He's open about being a small, agile team, making the corporation feel magnanimous. But he has a hidden strength, a pending patent, and a quiet backup offer. The corporation, believing they have control, offers a lowball deal. Only then does David subtly reveal his leverage, not as a threat, but as a point of clarification, and closes a much better deal. He controlled the narrative. To deepen this art, Sun Tzu adds, "The whole secret lies in confusing the enemy so that he cannot fathom your real intent." This is the power of strategic mystery. When people can't predict you, they can't control you. Think of a musician trying to build a career in the modern industry. If she releases the same type of song over and over, she becomes predictable, easily categorized, and eventually boring. Instead, she cultivates mystery. Her first release is a raw, acoustic ballad. Her next is an electronic dance track. She collaborates with a jazz artist. She doesn't post her every move on social media. Critics can't pigeonhole her. Her audience is constantly engaged, wondering what she'll do next. She isn't being erratic, she is being strategically unreadable. Her enemy, the creative stagnation and public boredom that ends so many careers, can never land a blow because it can't anticipate where she is. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche touched on this, writing, "And those who were seen dancing were thought to be insane by those who could not hear the music." By operating on a level others can't perceive, you achieve a state of creative freedom and strategic advantage. 3. The art of action, the victory of position strategy. Without action is merely a daydream, but action must be precise. Sun Tzu wrote, "Energy may be likened to the bending of a crossbow, decision to the releasing of a trigger. The power comes from the slow, patient preparation." A real estate investor, Maria, spends months bending the crossbow by researching a stagnant neighborhood. When the city announces a minor transit expansion, the trigger, she acts with blinding speed, buying properties before the market sentiment shifts. Her victory was secured by months of invisible preparation. But where you act is as important as when you act. This leads to a more advanced principle. Those skilled in war bring the enemy to the field of battle and are not brought there by him. Do not fight on terrain chosen by your opponent. Change the environment. Control the battlefield. A manager, Linda, has a talented but incredibly argumentative employee, Mark, who constantly challenges her decisions in team meetings. Arguing with him is a losing battle. It's his chosen terrain, where he thrives on confrontation. Linda would be brought to his battlefield, Marcel. Instead, she changes the environment. She implements a new system where all project proposals and objections must be submitted in a detailed written document, citing data before any meeting. The battlefield is no longer the emotional arena of a live debate. It's the cold, logical arena of a written report. Mark, who excels at verbal sparring but dislikes detailed analytical work, quickly disengages. His confrontational style is now ineffective. Linda won, not by confronting Mark, but by making the very ground he fought on irrelevant. As the saying goes, never wrestle with a pig. You both get dirty, and besides, the pig likes it. Do not engage in a fight you cannot win. Change the rules, change the environment, and make your strengths the deciding factor. 4. The art of victory, the victory of character. How you win matters more than the victory itself. A win that creates two new enemies is, in the long run, a net loss. Sun Tzu's most profound wisdom lies here, advising, build your opponent a golden bridge to retreat across. A cornered enemy fights with terrifying desperation. A humiliated colleague becomes a lifelong adversary. True victory is about strengthening your position for the future. A manager, Frank, must demote a well-liked but underperforming senior employee, Tom. The brute force win is to fire him. Instead, Frank builds a golden bridge. He creates a new, respected role for Tom as a senior mentor, honoring his experience while moving him from the role he was failing in. Tom accepts with dignity. The team sees Frank as a wise leader. He achieved his goal and increased his team's loyalty. This idea of victory through character is cemented by another of Sun Tzu's principles. A leader leads by example, not by force. True influence is not commanded. It is earned. Think of a high school basketball coach. She could be a tyrant, screaming at her players, punishing every mistake, and ruling by fear. She might win some games, but she'll foster resentment and burnout. A wiser coach leads by example. She is the first in the gym and the last to leave. During grueling conditioning drills, she runs alongside her players, not just timing them with a stopwatch. She demonstrates discipline, resilience, and a love for the game in her own actions. Her players don't follow her because they fear her, they follow her because they respect her. They internalize her work ethic. She isn't just building a winning team for one season, she is building resilient characters for life. Plato spoke of this thousands of years ago, stating, "The greatest penalty for declining to rule is to be ruled by someone inferior to yourself." The leader who rules by force is ultimately inferior to the one who leads by earning genuine admiration. The art of war is, in the end, the art of wisdom. It is a philosophy of efficiency, a guide to achieving the greatest results with the least amount of friction. It teaches us to win the battle of preparation before we arrive, to shape the narrative so that our strengths are amplified, to act with the decisive force of a river breaking through a dam, and to win with such grace and character that victory itself strengthens our position for all the battles to come. The world will always present you with conflict. You do not have to meet it with aggression. You can meet it with strategy, with clarity, and with the quiet confidence of knowing you have already won. That is the art of life.